3 minutes can change your life. That's all it took. 3 minutes from calm to chaos, from sitting peacefully outside a hospital to lying face down on concrete in handcuffs, wondering how telling the truth somehow made everything worse. Yeah, that happened, and the wildest part is, it didn't start with violence, it started with a sentence. You match the description. You ever hear words like that and feel your stomach drop before your brain even catches up? Because something inside you already knows this isn't about facts. This is about somebody deciding who you are before you even speak. So here's what happened to me, exactly how it happened, and why people all over the country ended up arguing about it after the video hit the internet. It was a Tuesday afternoon, same routine I'd had for years, hospital checkup, spinal clinic, the usual stuff that comes with living in a wheelchair after an explosion overseas rearranged my life. I rolled out through the sliding doors, wristband still on paperwork on my lap, air hitting my face like freedom after that antiseptic hospital smell, you know what I mean. Outside was this little waiting area with benches and a couple trees, nothing fancy, just a spot where people sat until rides showed up. I texted my driver. He said 15 minutes, so I parked near the walkway and just watched people moving around like background actors in somebody else's movie. Then I saw it quick, like a magic trick done by a jerk guy in a hoodie walks up behind a woman, snatches her purse, bolts. She screams loud, sharp, the kind that slices through your chest. Nobody moved fast enough, but I grabbed my phone and called 911 because that's what you do when something goes down and you've been trained your whole life to react instead of freeze. I'm telling the dispatcher what I see, giving details, direction he ran, trying to be helpful. And that's when the guy looks back, spots me with the phone, and suddenly I'm part of the story. He runs straight at me, and there's this split second where my brain says move, and my body reminds me it doesn't work like that anymore. He reaches me, grabs my bag off my lap, snatches the phone right out of my hand, and takes off again without a word. Just like that, I go from witness to victim, sitting there empty-handed, watching him disappear between cars while the woman cries behind me. I remember thinking, okay, police are already on the way. They'll sort this out. It's annoying, but it's fine. 6 minutes later, a patrol car pulls up. Officer steps out, posture stiff, like he's already rehearsed what he's going to say. He scans once, locks eyes on me, and walks straight over. Doesn't talk to the woman who got robbed, doesn't ask anybody what happened. Just comes right up and says loud, "You matched the description. You're under arrest." I actually laughed, not because it was funny, but because my brain couldn't process it. I said, "Officer, I'm in a wheelchair." He didn't smile. He said, "Stand up." I thought he was joking, so I said, "I can't. I'm paralyzed." He leaned closer like he'd caught me lying and said, "Nice try. Stand up anyway." And that right there was the moment everything shifted. The air changed, the feeling in my chest changed because I realized he wasn't confused, he'd already decided. People nearby started talking, telling him I was the one who called, that I got robbed too, pointing toward the parking lot where the real guy ran. The officer didn't even look at them, just snapped, "Stay out of it." Then back to me, voice colder, "Get up now or I'll pull you out myself." I told him again, calm as I could, that I couldn't stand, that he could check inside the hospital, that I'd just come from an appointment, that they had my records. He glanced at my wristband, saw it, and still said, "Convenient." You ever try explaining reality to somebody who already decided you're lying? It feels like talking into a wall that argues back. He radioed for backup, grabbed my arm, and before I could brace, he yanked. My chair shifted. My balance went, and suddenly I was on the ground. Hard legs twisted under me in ways they don't bend, pain shooting up my spine like lightning. I shouted, "I can't walk," but he flipped me onto my stomach anyway and cuffed me. Concrete against my cheek metal, biting my wrists, wheelchair tipped beside me, wheels still spinning slow, like it was confused how we got there. People were yelling now, some pulling out phones, one guy saying, "Man, he's disabled." And I'm lying there thinking, this can't be real, this can't actually be happening, because I'm not fighting, I'm not running, I literally can't, and somehow I'm the threat. Then the second cruiser shows up and a supervisor steps out, takes one look at the scene, and you can see it hit her face, that expression, like something smells wrong. She walks over, asks the officer what's going on. He says, I matched the suspect description and resisted. She looks down at my legs, twisted sideways, and says, calm but sharp. He's resisting with what exactly? Crowd murmurs. Somebody lets out a bitter laugh. She kneels next to me, asks my name. I tell her I'm paralyzed. Tell her I was robbed. Tell her my ID's in the bag that got stolen. She checks my wristband. Really checks it. Then stands up and asks the crowd who saw what happened. Hands go up instantly. Woman points at me saying, "I called police." Another guy says he recorded everything. Another says the real robber ran the other way. The supervisor nods once walks inside the hospital, verifies my name, my appointment, my condition. When she comes back out, her face looks different, tight, serious. She walks straight to the officer and says, "Uncuff him. Now." He hesitates, like he's still hoping he's right. She repeats it louder. "That's an order." He unlocks the cuffs. My hands come forward, slow wrists throbbing, and they help me back into my chair. She says quietly, "I'm sorry. This shouldn't have happened." I believed she meant it, but sorry doesn't rewind time. EMS checked me out. Bruises, scrapes, back pain flaring sent me inside for scans. No new damage, thankfully, but enough strain that every breath reminded me what concrete feels like. Outside witnesses gave statements, videos got saved, body cam secured. And that night the internet did what it does, the footage spread. Different angles, different voices, same moment me, on the ground, chair tipped over, officer standing above me with cuffs. By morning it was everywhere. News stations, headlines, debates, strangers arguing about something that had happened to my body like it was a sports replay. The department put the officer on leave fast once they saw the videos. Internal investigators pulled his record, and turns out there'd been complaints before, similar patterns, assumptions, force first questions later. I hired a civil rights lawyer because at that point it wasn't just about me, it was about making sure nobody could shrug this off as a misunderstanding. He watched the footage once and said, "This is as clear as it gets." We filed a federal case, excessive force, unlawful detention, discrimination. The city looked at the evidence and decided they didn't want a jury seeing it, so they settled. Big number two, the kind people argue about online like they're calculating somebody else's pain on a calculator. But money doesn't erase humiliation, it just proves somebody finally admitted something went wrong. The officer lost his job, appealed, lost again, and from what I hear, nobody else wants to hire him now. Me, I used part of that settlement to start helping other disabled folks get legal support when they're mistreated. Because while I was lying on that pavement, one thought kept echoing in my head. What happens to the people who don't have witnesses, don't have cameras, don't have proof? That's the part nobody likes to talk about. My story had a clear ending. Accountability, consequences, reforms promised. But not every story ends like that. Some end with silence. Some end with nobody believing you. Some end before anyone even hears you. And that's why I'm telling you this, not for sympathy, not for applause, but because I want to know what you think. If you'd been there that day, would you have spoken up when the officer told everyone to stay out of it? Would you have filmed it? Would you have stepped in? And bigger question, do you think situations like this come down to one bad decision or something deeper that still hasn't been fixed? Tell me honestly down in the comments, because conversations like this matter. And if this story hit you in any kind of way, share it, subscribe, and stick around, because sometimes the only way things change is when people refuse to stay quiet about what they saw.